Now we're there. Hey, I don't know what was happening with my computer. It wouldn't go live. So anyway, I know I'm eating gummy bears. You guys, these are the best. These gummy bears are the best. Bennett, you can head over there now. I don't know what was happening. Anyway, so hey, all right. Tonight's topic, and there may be people joining the live. A few of my students should be in here. We're going to talk about approaches. Hey guys, we're talking to approaches to the ACT tests, like how do you go to, like how do you get into the test? Like how do you actually take the test? And when I'm done giving tonight's tips, we'll do a little Q&A. So if you have any questions, please ask, and I'll do some shout outs or whatever. But thank you, all of you who are in here. Hey, I'm not well. I did put on some makeup and do my hair a little bit so that I don't look like death warmed over, but I'm going to do my best because I need to do this tonight. So anyway, here's the deal. So for those of you who are taking the ACT, and it's an American test, right, to see how qualified supposedly you are for college. But in the United States, we basically give two tests, the ACT and the SAT. A lot of schools take either the ACT or the SAT, but most colleges in the Midwest use the ACT, and most colleges on the coast use the SAT. They both have their differences, but let's just talk a little bit about approaching the test, okay? So each ACT test has 4 tests within it. There's an English test, a math test, a reading test, and a science reasoning test. And there are ways to make it easier on yourself as you go into the test. So for instance, if you're approaching the English test, we're going to talk about that one first. There is always a passage and questions that go along with the passage. And some kids just skip to the question and look at it in context and then answer it. You can't do that. And you don't want to read the whole passage and then go back and answer the questions. How are you guys doing? What you want to do is read the passage. Okay. So just you read the passage until you hit a question, but you read the full sentence at least. So you read the passage and read the full sentence that the question is in, and then you answer the question. Now, sometimes if it's a question that asks you about the passage as a whole, you can put a little mark beside it and go back and answer it when you've read the whole passage. Or when if it asks a question like, which sentence best introduces the next one? I like to read the sentence plus the next sentence just to be safe. But most of the time you only need the passage up through that whole sentence. If you don't read the whole sentence, you're going to miss what you need to answer the whole question. This is true with any test you take where you're reading a passage and answering a question about the passage. But especially with the English test, you do not want to read the whole passage and then because it'll waste too much time. You've got 75 minutes to answer, or excuse me, you've got 45 minutes to answer 75 questions. So that's really the way you approach the ACT English section. If you're just skipping to questions, you're going to get them wrong. Now, in tutoring sessions, I go through exact questions. For copyright reasons, I can't really do that on here. But I can give you kind of approaches. So that's sort of the English test. And the English test, remember, doesn't get harder as you go through it. The very last question on the test might be the easiest question in the whole thing. So you want to make sure you get through it. Then you go to the math section. Now, the math section is kind of set up differently than the English section because the math section has 60 questions on it. And I've talked about this before, but they gradually get more difficult. The way to approach math is to practice so that you know what your skill level is. And, you're better off getting 40 done well than all 60 done poorly. So when you approach the math, like just in general, you kind of want to know what your math level skills are and try to get those done in your 60 minutes, plus just fill in the bubbles for the rest of them. Because I guarantee if you spend your time getting 40 questions right, like let's say you don't have trigonometry skills or advanced math skills, there's no reason to work on those problems because you're just not the whole sine, cosine thing. Like you're not going to be as likely to get them right. So just guess, you know what I mean? So again, you just go into it and you know you have to do the first ones right. With English, it's a lot different. Again, the last question might be the easiest one. Math, different. And math on the ACT is a little different than the SAT. On the SAT, there's a section where you have to like fill in the numbers. You don't ever have to do that on math. And I'm going to tell you this. If you have had basic algebra and geometry, you can still score in the high 20s. Don't let your schools, here, I'm starting to, you can tell. Don't let your schools tell you that you have to have advanced math to do well in the ACT. You don't. You need to have really good Algebra 1 and geometry skills, and Algebra 2 will help as well. And if you're going to review anything for the test, review your basic formulas. That's what you have to review because that's what's going to be used over and over on the test. So, you know, math, use your time to get it done. When it comes to reading, now I've touched on this a little bit before. The approach to the reading test can be 3 ways. All right. Some people go straight to the questions and then figure out what's going on. And sometimes that works. Some people like go to a question and like they preview the questions and then like read the passage. Don't do it. And then some people read the passage and then go to the questions. The best way and the healthiest way and the more likely way to get more right is to read the passage and then answer your questions. But you don't spend very much time in the passage. Each one of the reading tests has 4 passages in it. You have an average of about 3 minutes per passage and then about 5.5 minutes, 5.75 minutes to do the questions. But you're better off if you don't pre-read the questions. You do not. But here's my huge advice for the ACT reading. Are you ready? Most of the time, this is the most important tip you know for reading. And if you know this, you will do better on the test. So you read the passage, right? You make sure you mark like your key idea or what you think the whole thing's about. But you go, I promise you, this is going to help you so much. You cover your answers, you read the question, and you write down a gut response, like an emotional gut response guess to the question. That works about 5 out of 10 times. You can guess the answer, and then you just find the answer question or the answer response that fits what you've written down. I know that sounds crazy, but y'all are smart enough to do as well as you want to on this test. That is the #1 reading strategy, and it works like so often it's crazy. So, and I, in specific tutoring sessions, I can show you how that works, but I've got to get that through to you, and you have to write it down. One of the things I talk about all the time is how important it is to literally write on the test. You can scribble all over the test, and it will save you so much time. So the key to reading, the way you approach it, don't pre-read, read the passage, point out the key idea, like the topic, plus maybe the time it takes place in and the attitude about that topic. Then you go to your questions. Only take about 3 minutes, and then go to your questions. Read the first question and cover your answers and try to guess. The other thing I tell kids is if the question, like if you're scoring like 16, 17 on the reading and you need to up your score, don't waste your time on the questions that have 5 or more lines in the question because it just hurts your brain. To just skip those, guess it, and go on. That's one way I approach the test. And then again, I've said, if you're scoring in the teens, try to get 2 passages done well and fill in the bubbles for the other 2 passages. If you're scoring in the low 20s, make sure you get at least 3 done well, and then guess on the other ones. And then you're trying to get a 30, you've got to get all 4 passages done. No, it's amazing. Like it will help you. And you can do that too. If your test is made well and it's a standardized test, you can do that you can cover your answers and guess before you go to the answers, because then the answers won't confuse you and change your mind. Can y'all tell I'm not well? COVID. Oh, well, I still have to do this. So that's kind of a way to approach the reading section. And then you get to the science test. There are a lot of different approaches to the science test. By the time you get to the science test, your brain's going to be dead. Now, one thing you don't have to do is read the passage and then do the questions. You can if you want to, but I would at least read the little introduction and then go to the questions and then search for an answer. The thing about the science test is all of the answers are on the page. You don't have to know anything except maybe the pH level, like acid base, 1 to 7. Like that's all you need to know really. And maybe how to balance an equation. But that's kind of mathematical. But I would suggest definitely reading because there's usually a little intro. Read that first paragraph because almost always there's a question in there. And then go to your questions and then search for it in the passage. Because if you just read the whole passage and then go to the questions, you're wasting time, because a lot of the time you don't need all the information. There might be 5 questions about a certain passage in science, and you might not even use one of the charts. Like, it's crazy. So make sure that you're, utilizing your time, utilize your time well. And just be careful. If it says table 1, don't go to chart 1, like make sure you are matching up exactly what you need to match up to figure it out. It's like, it's just crazy amazing. And the science test, another approach is some people don't like to read the science test. Like they like the tests that have more charts in them. Now, some of the tests are almost all narrative, or some of the passages are all narrative within the science test. For instance, like this one, okay? Do you see all of those words on this passage? This is one that if it were early on, I would no, my brain can't handle this. I just want to go to the ones that are mostly like charts and graphs, because it's kind of like a story problem in math. So that's another thing you do. Some people can't get through all of the passages. So make sure you choose the passages that look easiest for you to do. You can skip around. You just have to make sure that, when you bubble in on your bubble sheet, that number 4 matches your number 4 answer. And that's kind of it. I had planned to talk to you for about 15 to 20 minutes on kind of an approach toward the ACT and stuff. But I've gotten, literally I should not be doing this with COVID, but that's okay. I'm doing it anyway. So that's kind of the deal. There are ways to approach each test within the overall test. And if you practice it, you'll get better at it. But that's kind of an overview. And again, the reason I do this is because that's information that you don't have to pay me for in a tutoring session. Now, I am opening the floor up to any questions that y'all have, either about testing, college entrance, or any other questions at all. Okay. So I'm just going to open this up to anything that y'all want to talk about. Hi, we got Natasha, Natalia, Optimus. Anybody have any questions or anything you want to talk about? I don't care. My COVID, it's rough. I've got a tutor at 8 tonight too. Are you guys, where are you? Nobody have any questions? Y'all can go over there and ask me questions. Nobody? No questions about the test? Oh, hi you. Amazing. You're helping us even when we're sick. Sending love. Oh, hi, Natalia. I love you. You're such a sweetheart. Do you guys have any questions though about, anything? Well, okay, that's a good question. How am I feeling? Not well. I'm pretty clammy and I'm a little winded, but I'm a lot better off than Brian is. He's not doing well at all. He's thought the last 2 days he was just going to go to the hospital, but he hasn't gone yet. Solution B to studying ACT, but even studying in general, it depends on the person. Some people can study in groups. I have to study like by myself, and I have to have a long period of time to focus. One of the things that I do when I study, so when I was teaching, I had several students who were, like here they call it like in the red room or resource room or whatever. Supposedly kids who like maybe have learning disabilities or whatever. And I gave really difficult vocabulary tests every Friday. And I mean, really difficult tests. And so, and I wanted to improve kids' vocabulary, because one of the main things to success in reading is improving your vocabulary. And so what I'd have them do is make flashcards with pictures on them. So I'd have them make a flashcard of the definition, the real definition kind of in their own words, and like a picture that helped them remember that. And I'd say, like, I want you to put those on your mirror in the morning. So like when you're getting ready, you know, like as you're putting on mascara, so let's say we've got 5 words on your mirror, right? So you tape the 5 words to your mirror. It helps you memorize, because let's say as you're putting on mascara, you review that one word, right? As you're putting on lipstick or whatever, you review that word. As you're putting on lotion, you review a different word. Well, then when you get to the test, your brain visually associates like what you're doing as you're thinking about that word that you're memorizing. There are all kinds of great mnemonic devices that help. Or like I used to go for walks with sheets of paper, things I had to study, like lists. And so like I've had to memorize the states or something. I'd like have 5 states in a row, and I'd go for a walk or a run. And then every foot I'd say a state, and then I'd review. And I mean, there are just all kinds of ways that you can improve your study habits if you're memorizing things. Now people say, like Gary Vee, he says you don't have to memorize anything anymore. It's at the tip of your fingertips. No. The basis of critical thought is knowledge in your head and knowing about a lot of things. So it's important to read, know, and memorize so that you have a basis for critical thought. I think he's totally wrong on that. Gary Vee, I'm telling you, you are wrong. Listen, you need to memorize stuff. Memorizing is the key. And poetry, like poetry has gone out of fashion. Poetry helps you memorize things. So put it into rhyming schemes. Anyway, okay. Family just got over COVID. Was ordering. Yeah, we've got finger oxygen meters. Yep, we do. It's really fun. Like Carly, there are all kinds of fun ways. And then what happens is, even my daughter, like, you know, she got straight A's last semester. She's really proud of herself. But she hasn't really until high school, till last semester. But get this, you can start taking the test as 7th graders. I say take it every single year. But I want to talk to, what was I saying? I got off track. Oh, well, I have COVID brain right now. Courtney. Hey, Courtney, how you doing? The 50 states. I know it is fun. Oh, that's what I was going to talk about. She's excited because she's done well. What happens when you learn things and when you memorize things, it trains your brain to be able to learn better other things. Like, it's just like this. And you start to feel good. Like, it's fun to know stuff. It's fun to know stuff. And the more stuff you know, like I say, I know a little bit about everything, and I know just enough to be dangerous in any situation. So like, you know, like for instance, I took a karate class and learned a little bit of Japanese, Ichi ni sanchi go rikushi chachuju, makusei man sentenrai, you know? So like, if you know just a tiny bit about something, you can really impress people, and it's fun. I was in preschool. Yeah, it's the time to learn stuff. I'm all right. Yes. Oh, and like when I learned the Spanish alphabet, people are like, what? I don't know Spanish, but no. That's how I learned it. It's so fun to put, when you put things to songs, it works so much better. Oh yeah, it's been I've been on here for like 18 months now. It's just crazy. If you don't mind me asking, what are the main symptoms you've been having? And I know everyone gets, yeah, everybody is different. So I knew I had it when I did this. I was walking through the living room and my balance was off, and I had like a little heat flash. I literally went like this to kind of pull my equilibrium back. So my first, like, but for a few days before that, when I lie down, and I start to fall asleep, I do this. Like I wake myself up with a quick breath. It's really weird. So my main symptoms are I can't sleep because I can't really breathe when I lie down. And then I have crazy vertigo. Like I literally like and with the vertigo, I have a horrible, because I had a headache. So from my ears down in the back, I've got a crazy headache. So I happen to not have a fever right now. Brian has had a fever for 8 days. It will go from 97 to 103.5. So he just goes from sweats to chills to sweats to chills. I am not having that problem, but you can tell that my lungs are a little filled up, but I'm taking multivitamins. I'm taking, I've got asthma inhalers that I take on a normal basis anyway. I'm taking vitamin C. I'm taking acetaminophen, and I put that off with ibuprofen. I've just a bunch of multivitamins. So that's what I've been doing. Vertigo is the worst. It makes you feel like you're on drugs. No, why do you think my favorite thing on earth is gummy bears? And I'm like, I don't know. Didn't lose my sense of smell or taste. And you know what? Brian was sick for like 3 days. And then he went to smell a candle. He's like, I can't smell the candle. That's how he knew he had it. I can smell, I can taste. It's the weirdest thing. And we have the same strain because I got it from him. Thank you. Yep, orange juice. Got my OJ. I just had a big old glass before I got on the stream. Yeah, worst time. I know you can't. Like Lucy, she's in there. We don't spend time together. I've got mass. Like if I just basically don't come out. Oh my gosh, you guys, she made homemade pretzels today. My daughter, 16, made homemade pretzels. I was so impressed. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Anything you guys want to talk about? You got me free. Any? Well, I am headed to, what are the rules right now in your house? What do you mean the rules? She stays in her room when I'm out here, and I stay in my room when she's out here. Those are the rules. Yeah, no, she made the best. You're at work. I'm not necessarily better. I just kind of rallied because I need to do this tonight. Can you retake? Yes. So here's the deal. The ACT, you can take the ACT up to 12 times. So you need to start taking it as early as possible and take it as often as you can. I mean, I think it might be up to like $50 now, but it's not that expensive. You've got to take it and retake it. If you can up your score, you can get a full ride to school and not pay for it. And that's why it's so important. Oh, I'm glad you stopped in. What happens after the 12th time? You can't take it anymore, but who would want to? Most people, 3 or 4 times is usually enough. I think my son took it 3 or 4 times. I think my son got an 18 the first time he took it. And then the 3rd or 4th time, he got a 35 in English. He got a 32 overall. And he's like, Mom, I don't have to take it again, do I? I was like, no, you're going to get a full ride to UNL so you can stop taking it. Anyway, so any other questions, y'all? Any other shout outs? Thank you, Deanna, for stopping in. Mrs. Stiles. Courtney, if you guys have any other, yes, I know I'm over on, but I'm not I just do that so people know I'm over here. And I have taken like the last week or 2 off. I will do my tutoring session at 8 tonight, and then I'm going back to bed for probably the next 3 days. I'm trying to I'll get back on my schedule on here. But on Saturdays, I do crafts. I didn't do them last Saturday because I couldn't get out of bed. That was yesterday. And then I do, review TikTok accounts on here on Fridays. So any of you on TikTok, if you want to come over, if you want to go to YouTube. On Fridays, I review TikTok accounts live on YouTube, which is kind of fun. And then I read children's books 1 night a week too. So I just do different things on live streams. Oh, thank you. Hi, Tommy. How you doing? I'm going to be okay, I think. So yeah, the rules of our house, and Brian is in a hotel room. So we are totally isolated from each other. Anyway, it's crazy. So, okay, you have COVID, have a headache, fever, chills to sweats. Yep. That's it, Brianna. Or is it Brianna? It depends on how you pronounce it. But yeah. Hi, Michaela. Make sure you guys sub to the YouTube channel and you watch the other YouTubes. The first one that comes up is funny. Sub to the YouTube channel. So I will, I'm gonna let you go. I need to go set up a tutoring session, and I got to take a break. Otherwise I won't make it. But thank you guys for showing up. I will try to, I think Tuesday night I've been doing, you know, but then I have something really cool coming to Instagram. You guys, I'm doing a journey on Instagram, a journey to the beach. I think you will just love it. Like follow the Instagram. There, I'm doing a journey to the beach, and it will be so fun. And I'm gonna like chart people like meeting me on the beach, because we're gonna do like a virtual walk to the beach, and all that info. I'm gonna do playlists, and we're gonna start walking. I was gonna start it today, but no. So in the next few days, that will be on Instagram, and you guys will. I think you'll love being a part of that. Oh, thanks. I'm alive, but anyway, love you guys. Take care. Come back. Good to see you all, and I hope that you got to kind of communicate with each other. Anyway, Natasha, you're gonna like it, Natasha. It'll be fun. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.